In this video, we're going to be going over AI agent architecture. We're going to be using some of the concepts from the last video on the different types of AI agents and kind of AI agents 101. And I'm going to show you what it actually looks like to build out AI agents at scale and how do you add genuine value to people by building AI agents. So let's dive right into it. So the kind of core concept that I want to cover here is this idea of a hierarchy of agents, right? So essentially what you want to think about at this point in time, agents can't handle like a million different workflows at once. And so rather than trying to have one agent connected to 20 different workflows that all have different like things that it can do, what you want to think about is rather to have one coordinator agent for different worker agents, right? And so this one coordinator agent, that's like the core agent for those workflows. Then you give each agent maybe 3 to 4 different workflows. So let's say we have like an SDR agent here. Then it's going to be like, all right, the first agent is going to be like the lead sourcing agent. And so you can see there's this like the master agent, which like the master SDR agent. Then you have the lead sourcing agent. Then you have the lead personalization agent. And then you have the personalization agent, and then you have the, let's say, copywriting agent. That's probably going to be actually a completely different master agent, is going to be like the campaign type stuff. So lead personalization, maybe like campaign monitoring agent, and then you have the lead verifying agent. So then each of these agents, you give a couple different workflows. So maybe you have 10 to 12 different workflows for your, SDR agent. So you have like the lead sourcing agent, the lead personalization. And then if you have a chat configured with this, so let's say we have like, this is like the chat bot, which is like the core of the agent, and it's connected to this, SDR agent. Basically what you want to think about is now if you like ask the agent, say like, hey, go source 20K leads for this ICP and then personalize them and verify them, then it's going to know exactly what to do, because it's going to say, okay, first I need to trigger the lead sourcing agent, and then the lead sourcing agent knows exactly how to source those leads. And then it says like, oh, okay, source for this ICP, and then it runs it, it returns it, and then it's like, okay, now personalize them, now trigger this agent, now trigger this agent. So if you were to try to give, like, let's say we have different workflows under here, right? So let's say that each of these is a workflow. So we have like workflow 1, I'm not going to put anything here, but like workflow 1, workflow 2, workflow 3, you get the idea. Like, we have these workflows, these are workflows. So every agent is associated with various workflows in vector databases that it can trigger. And rather than just having this this master agent be connected to, all of these different workflows. I think I need to lock this. I think that's going to help. Rather than having this be associated with all of these different, there we go. With all of these different workflows, like imagine having this agent be attached to 12 different workflows, and then you ask it to do this one prompt. It's not going to know which of these workflows to trigger, or the error rate of that agent is going to be so high. Whereas if the goal here is that you have each of these individual, agents, and then the master agent, and each of these individual agents is associated with like 1 to 2 different workflows that are very clearly defined with prompt engineering, then this is going to work a much higher percentage of the time. And so you can kind of think of it like this. You have the strategic agent, which is like the one that you can give it very complex tasks, and then you have different agents underneath it, and at the bottom you just have all of these execution level agents that are tasked with specific workflows and different tasks that it can do, right? So the execution agent, you're giving it a bunch of tasks. So maybe you say like, we wanted to have access to our Gmail. Then what you could do is say like, it can send an email, it can reply to an email, it can do any of these things via email. So you can think of it like multiple different rungs in a ladder or in a hierarchy. And so the more that you use this type of agent architecture, the more effective your agents are going to become. Because, you know, you can basically think of this like an org chart, right? Any business has certain roles and tasks, and it looks exactly like this. You have the CEO, you have like this, you have sales, you have marketing, you have all these different departments. You have different people working in these departments, and then each of these people have individual roles and responsibilities, right? Kind of like this. And each of those are specific workflows. And so you can basically make it as much of like an org chart as you want. And essentially, what we're thinking about here is multi agent teams. So the more that you can see these agent architecture similar to an org chart, the more you're going to be able to actually automate vast majorities and like vast departments of your business rather than just building one execution agent that does one thing. Like that's basically the same as a workflow. We've had, Zapier, we've had, just people connecting APIs to one another for decades now. And this is nothing new, but what's new is having an AI agent architecture that can basically act as an entire org chart, right? And so if you go back to the video on the 5 different types of AI agents, we can see that we can have this org chart, right? We have this AI agent hierarchy. Some of the agents are basic, some are intermediate, some are advanced. But when we split it up by department, some of them will be like simple reflex agents, some of them will be goal-based agents. Like depending on how complex the task is, you might have to use different like types of agents to build it out, but it's going to be this hierarchical structure, right? This hierarchical agent structure. And so, at the end of the day, like I'm not going to go too in the weeds in this video, but at the end of the day, what you need to think about is you need to like break down the tasks into the specific operations that you want. So the most common trap is trying to build an agent that does what the strategic layer would do without thinking about like what, how do I put this in another way? Most people try to build agents without knowing what they're trying to build. So the people that build the best agents, the people that build the most effective agents are the ones that understand the specific operational day-to-day needs. So if you have a company and you want to, you know, uh, augment it with AI, what you want to do is you want to go to the ground level people and be like, what are the actual like buttons that you click on a day-to-day basis to accomplish this role? And you break it into maybe 4 or 5 different workflows. Then you build an agent for each one of those. And then you build a master agent that connects those agents. And I'll have some videos in the near future on actually building out those agents in real time. But you can think of it like there's the operational layer, the tactical layer, and the strategic layer. Don't start with the strategic layer. Start with the tactical layer. Figure out what are all the different operations that make up that tactical layer, and then start by building each of those operational agents. And then only once you've built all of those operational agents to accomplish that tactical objective, then build the master agent that connects them all, right? So it's basically like you keep the strategy in mind, you keep the goal in mind. The goal is XYZ, do add value in XYZ way. But then as soon as you understand what the strategy is, what the goal is, then you go down to these 2 layers and you start building out the operations that create different role types. So that is essentially the basis of, AI agent architecture. We can go into some of the more advanced stuff in later videos, but I just wanted this video to be just a primer on understanding kind of the hierarchical nature of building agents and how you need to basically think in terms of like deconstructing your business. Like basically imagine like if you have a 1-person business, imagine like if I were to hire 10 people, what departments would they be in? Like a lot of stuff just doesn't change. You have marketing, you have product, you have sales, you have customer service, customer success, you have client delivery, you have certain departments in any organization. And when we're thinking about using AI agents to scale organizations, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to have AI agents do augment what we already know works, which is like different marketing, sales, customer delivery, etc. Right? And so with that being said, think about if I were to hire 1 person, 3 person, 5, 10 people, what departments would I put them in? What would be you have to think about it in terms of like if you were to scale your business, you have to hire. So like it's basically like similar to creating a job application. If you were to write a job application, or sorry, a job description, if you were to write a job description for an SDR, get really in the weeds at those roles and responsibilities, what would like make that person rock it out of the park? Like, what are the different things that would make that role be fulfilled successfully? And then once you do that, you will then understand what types of sub agents to build and the individual workflows underneath each of those sub agents. And so that's how I want you to think about AI agent architecture, and how to do it effectively. And once you understand that, like this is like really the basis of building out the agent. This is like the mental models and framing of what you need to know before we start building them out. Because if you just like didn't know this and you just try to start building stuff out, it's gonna be like a chicken with its head cut off, right? You're just be like, oh, maybe I build this agent and then maybe this agent and maybe this agent and oh like. But if you think about it in this way, you can say this is the role, here's the role description, here's the different specific sub roles. There's kind of like a role and then a sub role. Like if anyone has worked in a tech company, you understand you don't just do one thing. You do a multitude of different things. You wear different hats, you wear different roles. And so there's like a bunch of different hats that one role will wear. So if you say this is the SDR agent, what hats do they wear? And then what are the individual workflows that help you accomplish that hat? And then now you understand all of the workflows to build out, all of the agents to attach to those workflows, and then the one master agent to attach to that. And then let's say you have like, you want to automate marketing next. Then you would automate, the master, copywriter agent. This is going to take a lot more prompt engineering, but it's like, okay, this one would be like you do a customer research agent, because in order to write good copy, you need to have really solid customer research. And then you would do like the research analysis agent if it was a copywriting agent. And then you would do a outline writer agent. And then you would do the imitation copywriting agent. Like it's finding whatever the best practices are and the trends are in the industry and what are the specific copywriting styles that are working really well right now, and then how you use this customer research as as a copywriting agent. And then you could break down the actual copywriting itself, the actual like writing of the copy, not the research for the writing of the copy. You could probably break this down into a couple different agents, and then you have then you basically have two master agents, which are actually like it's an AI agent team. You have a SDR agent and a copywriter agent. In each of these, you have different like subtasks and agents that are doing those jobs. And so if you think about it in this way, you're going to be ahead of 99% of people that are getting into agents. Most people that are getting into agents, they either are really technical and they are a developer and they're trying to figure out like how to actually go about the programming of LangChain and all these things to build this out. Or you have people that are just like not technical and they're just starting to build stuff out. But I think it's really rare that you find someone that can do the deep thinking of understanding what is the specific infrastructure and architecture of these agents that we're going to build out before we actually go and execute on it. Like 95% of the work is this. It's figuring out what is the role description, what are the individual sub agents, like mapping this out and mapping out these workflows. Then once you map out the workflows, it's easy to build because you know exactly what you're building. So don't start building before you know what you're building. If you want to create a really effective agent architecture team. So I hope you found this video valuable. There's going to be lots more videos on this in the future. If you found this valuable, you can work with me at Smart Scaling AI. I build out agents for B2B businesses. We build out sales agents, marketing agents, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is a little bit about some of the work we do, some of our process, our case studies, and testimonials. And then if you're interested, we also, if you are not a business, but you want to learn actually how to build it, I do live AI system and AI agent builds where we just like build agents on a Zoom call. And for a little bit, I'm offering 60-minute like coaching sessions for anyone that joins the community. So let me know if this is something of interest to you, or you can find the links in the description. And so I hope you found this really valuable, and I will see you in the next video.